It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today, whether you're watching or listening. We are going to sit down with the National Weather Service today and find out just the impact of the storms that we had in January. We've got more coming on the way, and hopefully it's going to give us some relief so we don't have wildfire season kick in quite so fast. Joining us today is National Weather Service Warning Coordination Meteorologist Tony Merriman. He's back with us. Weather.gov is a good website to go to for your weather information. Hello, Tony.
Hi, good morning, Paul.
Welcome back. We had you in the fall talking about fall winter predictions is what it was, the fall winter predictions. And I have to say, pretty much right on mark. Above normal temperatures, below normal precipitation. But then January got here finally, and it saved the day. Can we talk about January and how important it was to northern Arizona?
Yeah, absolutely. So January came, and basically our typical La Nina pattern, which pushes a lot of the storms north and east of Arizona. That high pressure ridge that's off the west coast of the United States pushed just a little farther west, so it allowed some Alaskan storm systems to come down the west coast. And usually when that happens, those are pretty good snowmakers for us.
Now, before January, we did have some snow come in, but it didn't seem like it was very much. And that was that high pressure, or what was we had some storms come in, but they just weren't bringing in much. What was going on there? Because don't we get storms from two different directions kind of this time of year? We get them from the north sometimes and from the south out of Mexico?
Yeah, so, those storms, they originated from the continental part of North America, so there's not a lot of moisture with it. So whenever those storms do come across, it doesn't drop a lot of precipitation versus, the January storm systems, which stayed over the Pacific Ocean and came due south along the west coast. That's called a fetch. And that long fetch of moisture allows for those storms to load up with moisture. And as soon as it lifts across Arizona, that's usually our big snowmakers, especially for northern Arizona.
When was the last time we had any measurable precipitation that was really, that you could count on, that really soaked in and maybe kept people inside and just really doused the area? It had been quite some time before January.
Yeah, so we'd have to go back to March of 2020. It was a warm winter system, so there was a lot of precipitation with that one. And not a lot of snow with it, but again, talking about a large, widespread soaking event, that's kind of our last one was March of 2020. So it's been a while.
Wow, been a while is kind of an understatement. I think it's almost a year. It feels like almost a year since we've had anything really fall in the state. Because I know there's a thing called good snow and there's a thing called not so good snow, bad snow. Can you talk about those? Because I know those storms we were getting in. We had a few like November, December. The snow just wasn't anything. It was just like this dust coming down. But January, let's get back to January. January was a huge lifesaver for the state, if I'm not mistaken. How much did we actually receive across northern Arizona?
Yeah, so January was really, really great. We had over 40 inches in the Flagstaff area. Prescott got quite a bit less than that, but still over a foot, which is well above average for the entire season for Prescott. But we always need a good snowpack to recharge our water aquifers and our rivers too. So this is a good first step. It's not it's not a drought breaker by any means, but this has definitely been very beneficial for a snowpack for January and February.
Okay, so it's not. We're going to get to the drought too. Tony and I will talk about the drought and the impacts it's going to have on the state this year as well. I'm looking at the January 2021 climate summary that you guys put out last month. And Flagstaff, their average temperature for the month was 29.9 degrees. They picked up 4.16 inches. Now, when I say 4.16 inches, I'm not talking about snow, am I?
No, that's melted snow. It's called liquid equivalent. So if we were to melt that, that's what that is.
Okay, and then does that include what's still sitting on the ground that has not melted yet, or does that, no?
No, so what that is, we have what's called snowfall and rainfall. Snowfall is new snow, and the rainfall is the new liquid equivalent. So any kind of new snow, we melt it, and then we add it all up. So all of that precipitation had fallen and has soaked into the ground or evaporated too in the meantime. So that's what that 4.16 inches means for January.
Okay, all right. And that was 203% of Flagstaff's normal for the month of January. Now, when I say those numbers on the air, they sound huge to me too. 203%. I mean, that's really, really, really good. Prescott picked up 1.93 inches of liquid precipitation, or 172% of their normal for January. Winslow, which is typically kind of a dry area to begin with, it picked up just over a third of an inch, which was no percent of normal for the Winslow area. But it's amazing, the numbers. Flagstaff Airport, 43.5 inches. Payson, 33.2. Shoalo Airport, 21 inches, and Prescott, 18.3. Prescott did really well. Prescott doesn't see that much snow. When that much snow falls in Prescott, it kind of immobilizes everybody for a little bit of time.
Yeah. And so, usually we look at Prescott and Payson as kind of, our impact line. So, you're both at about a mile high. So if the snow level's at 6,000 feet, your precipitation is going to fall as liquid. If it's 5,000 feet, it's probably going to fall as snow and accumulate. And of course, with Prescott Valley being as populous as it is, huge impact for, for anyone with 18 inches of snow, it's a huge impact, but even that kind of population exacerbates those impacts. So, the liquid part of that, if we melted all the snow, like you said, it was 180% of normal, which, is well above average for January, which is great. But following that system, you had above freezing high temperatures, and then right at freezing, if not a little below freezing, low temperatures. So that's called a gentle melt. So all of that snow melted a little bit, then froze a little bit, melted, froze. And so a slow, gentle melt like that is actually pretty good for reducing the amount of flooding impacts, which I don't think we didn't see any of that at all in the Verde Valley.
Because I thought about that too. Typically, I think of 93. February 93 was our big flood year here in Arizona. And I was thinking about that, and it seems a pretty common thing to have happen in the month of February, maybe even into March, where you get a bunch of snow through the winter months, you get all that snowpack up high, and then these tropical depressions come out of Mexico, out of the Baja, and then they come up, and instead of being a cold storm, it's a warm storm on top of all that snow, and then we get that fast melt off. So I was thinking that might be the scenario we're looking at in February, but you're right, it has been, I'd say it's melted relatively quickly, the snow up north, but there's still quite a bit on the ground that still has to melt. So it's not been that fast melt of snow. Right. And, we in the hydrology world, we love seeing gentle melts like this, because it's just a steady, melt like we were talking about. But February is typically our biggest month for flooding in northern Arizona, especially like Rimrock, Camp Verde, Prescott Valley, Cottonwood, those areas. For the reasons exactly what you were saying, we'd have a big snowpack set up in January. And then, with February, you'll have warmer temperatures. And then any systems that come from the Pacific, they'll be typically warmer in nature. And so that'll, in addition to produce a lot of rain, melt the snow that's in the higher elevations at the same time. So our biggest river events typically occur in February. Okay, let's take our first break. National Weather Service Warning Coordination Meteorologist Tony Merriman in studio with us today. Weather.gov, the website. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Two things we can count on every year.
A new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at candbhomes.com.
Been hearing about the crazy benefits of CBD? Find out how CBD can help you at Sedona's #1 resource, CBD Sedona. Come in for a free consultation and let our trained medical staff help you find the perfect product for you. Pain relieving salves, full spectrum oils, CBD skincare, bath bombs, and even CBD for your pets. Come on by CBD Sedona today.
Terrifying jobs, high-flying linemen, take 3. Josh, this is an absolutely terrifying job. Why do you do it?
It's a very demanding job, but very rewarding and exciting.
How much energy are you actually working with up there?
500,000 volts of electricity.
It's definitely not my line of work. Does anything shock you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with warning coordination meteorologist Tony Merriman from the National Weather Service and Flagstaff today, talking about, well, first of all, the benefits of the January storms that came through and how they saved the day. And Tony, I don't know about you guys, but here at the station, we're getting ready to get our wildfire PSAs back on the air as soon as possible and get that going. And it really came to light in January, prior to the storms getting here, where the Prescott National Forest had the goat fire, and they had a second fire. The goat fire, about 28 acres, but then the second fire was about 1,200 acres, and I'd never done, I don't think, ever a wildfire story in the month of January. So that, of course, brought concern to us as well. And then I noticed you guys, right at the end of January, early February 4th, as a matter of fact, it says right here, you issued the 2021 Fire Season Outlook, which is interesting, and it's on the main page of the National Weather Service when you go to their website at the top of the page, so you can get a look at this as well. But can you walk me through a little bit of this and what this means? And is this something new you guys are doing, or how did this play out?
So what we did was, given the drought conditions and exactly what you were saying, we were starting to see more active fires in January, which is, way beyond normal, is just to kind of take a deeper dive into looking at our fire weather conditions and what we can expect for this fire season. I know it's only February, but now is always a good time to plan for fire season. We always have a fire season, and especially now with how the drought conditions are and the fuels, we thought it was very appropriate to kind of put all of these key elements together and try to come up with some kind of fire outlook for this season.
And what is the outlook for the fire season as of the month of early February?
So as of right now, we're still looking at La Nina conditions, which is drier than average and warmer than average conditions. So going into the spring, we're still looking at, maybe an above average fire season, primarily for the lower elevations and the fine fuel. It's called fine fuel loading. And so the precipitation that we did get in January, which is very beneficial for plants and the fine fuels, but that allows it to grow. And then whenever we hit April and May, the plant life does cure and dry out and can go up real quick. So, the outlook is basically we're still going to have a fire season. And the way it looks right now, it looks like we'll be drying out and warming up. We still have La Nina conditions in full effect through the remainder of the winter and spring. And that's kind of what we're looking at so far for this fire season.
Are we looking at La Nina breaking down anytime too soon, or maybe before the monsoon arrives? Because we didn't have a monsoon season last year either. We missed out on everything last year, and everything we missed out on. Do we see La Nina breaking down?
Yeah, so La Nina will probably start heading into what are called neutral conditions, probably by the summer. But, the strongest correlation between La Nina and El Nino is with winter precipitation and not so much with monsoon precipitation. So, depending on how this spring shakes out, we'll see what happens with this monsoon season. I mean, statistically, having 2 record dry monsoon seasons in a row, the law of averages should be at least average for this upcoming monsoon season. But right now it's too early to tell.
Let me ask you this. The storms in January, is that a nice Band-Aid for northern Arizona to keep us in a more of, instead of seeing, last year it seemed like campfire restrictions went into place very early in the year, where this year I was kind of hoping, because I know the public was thinking about this too, it's like the forest is one place we can go to get out and go do something and not sense a lot of restriction on us with COVID-19 and all. Do we see us having maybe more of a normal spring and our wildfire season maybe being pushed off to what's kind of normal for us would be, I guess, May, June, the really hot months when they first start to roll in? Or are we going to possibly see wildfire season bump up to March because we're not really sure how much precipitation we're going to get between now and that time period?
Yeah, it really depends on the timing of precipitation for the first part and how the fuels react to that precipitation. Within that report, we have something called the energy release component, the ERC. And, right after the event, of course, they were well below normal. It means the grounds were saturated. So if you don't have fuel, you can't have fire. But once those start drying out, we could see, fire activity, as early as March. Or if we do get some nice wetting rains between now and then, it could be pushed off, into April or May. That's the thing with La Nina is you have less frequent storms. So, when odds are tilted in favor of drier than average conditions, it's because of less frequent storms. But the timing of these storms are very important in terms of, how long your fire season is. So even if, you have a late season winter event, that'll delay fire season for sure. But if all your precipitation, let's say, comes in February, we really dry out in March, then it could be an earlier season for sure.
The one thing I forgot to talk about too is that spring is always windy. It's always windy here in the spring too, and that has a detrimental effect on drying things out as well, having just that wind blow through it. So, all right, so right now it's kind of up in the air. We'll just kind of wait and see what happens. I know we've got a little something coming through on Friday, storm-wise, but it's not going to do much in the southern part of the state. It's mostly up north, and it could be just a dusting or so. But then the Saturday night, Sunday storm looks like another nice little shot, a little Band-Aid that's going to come our way and possibly give us some more wet. I think it's 2 to 4 inches between 5,000 and 6,000 feet is what the snow level's at right now. So, and I'll be calling Weather Service guys on Friday to get our typical weekend weather and a look at the week ahead also. We have to take our second break, Tony. National Weather Service Warning Coordination Meteorologist Tony Merriman in studio with us today. Go to weather.gov for the information that I bring to you just about every single day. Stick around, Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family friendly, open 11:30 to 9. Late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left of the program. Tony Merriman from the National Weather Service in Flagstaff is joining us today to talk about drought conditions, what the drought outlook looks like, and just how fantastic the storms were that we had in the month of January and how much they meant to the state, and how I have to say that if we did not have the January storms, wildfire season would be here right now. It could already started in January. So it'd be here right now. And I think last year's wildfire season, if I'm not mistaken, seemed to be like one of the longest ones I've ever reported on.
Yeah, it was pretty long for sure.
It was long. So we're in exceptional drought. Where are we at in terms of drought right now for our area?
So for the Verde Valley, drought conditions improved slightly by one category after that winter system, but it's just mainly been along the Mogollon Rim and into the Bradshaws, actually. So we went down one category to extreme drought, and that's where we're at right now. But the drought monitor does get updated every week using input from our state climatologist and reality, basically.
So once La Nina's gone, hopefully by sometime in the spring, if La Nina fades away, the odds are we'll have a regular, normal monsoon season. That's the possibility, and that's what we're kind of looking forward to. And then anything we can pick up between now and then, I want to say it's a bonus, but the way the weather's been over the last year, that would be a bonus for us if we could do that.
Yeah, any additional moisture we can pick up is definitely going to help out the state, the water supply, and hopefully tamp down our fire season also. That would be great.
Let me ask you this. What have you guys done to kind of get ready for wildfire season, other than the fact that you put this outlook out for the 2021 wildfire season? I know your meteorologists go to these wildfires when they're happening to give them current forecasts as they go out to battle these fires. Are you guys already gearing up for that as well?
Yeah, so we still have our two incident meteorologists, or IMETs for short, and they could be deployed anywhere in the United States, all the way up to Alaska, depending on the situation. So for type 1 fire, really big fires, our IMETs do get deployed to those fires anywhere in the United States, and it's a national program. And, there's a lot of IMETs in this agency, so we help each other out and hopefully are able to provide the weather support needed to put out these fires.
I know last year one of the big challenges was that while our typical wildfire season kind of comes to, now I don't want to say an end because it's always wildfire season in the state of Arizona, but the dangerous part of the wildfire season seems to end around July when monsoon kicks in, and it allows our agencies to kind of send people out to California, Oregon, Washington, Montana, Idaho, up the West Coast to kind of help out with those wildfires. But this last year didn't seem to, we did go out and help with those wildfires, but at the same time, we were pretty severe here the entire time they were gone when we were sending people away. So, yeah, our local IMETs, we have the most deployment hours out of any weather office in the United States. The Flagstaff office did. So kudos to our two IMETs for doing that. And again, we're all out. We're all helping each other. We're all on the same team, and we do what we can to help our neighbors. Wow. Okay. Tony, we're out of time, but I thank you for stopping by today and helping us out with this and just letting us know how important that wildfire, the storms were, but then we still need to think about the wildfire season that is here. It's just here, and drought conditions, although it helped a little bit, it's not enough to get us out of that. So thank you, Tony Merriman, National Weather Service Warning Coordination Meteorologist. Go to weather.gov. This is Countywide. As always, we thank you for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.